Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about a question that someone asked me the other day, which something that I've seen coaches struggle with, let alone anybody else. Um, but they were just like, how can I get this if I can't ask someone? And it's like, what do you mean you can't ask someone? I was like, they were like, I don't want to. Asking people is hard and it's difficult and all that kind of thing, so how can I get this otherwise? And it took a little bit of conversation to steer that round to something more constructive with that individual than just them getting held up. But it's a thing that has always stood out to me when looking around, and it's something that everyone struggles with as well to one degree or another. And that is the whole idea of it's almost this unspoken thing of if you don't ask for something, then you don't get it. And even if you do ask for something, there's a good chance you won't get it. But a lot of the time, people stop themselves from asking because they are afraid that they won't get it. When not asking just ensures that they never will. And it's one of these things where when you look at kind of people who are in business, coaches that are starting up by themselves, people that I did my qualifications with, one of the things that a lot of them struggle with is asking for money. You know, going, I'm setting up my own business, I'm doing this, that, and the other, I'm going to be enriching these people's lives. But it's really hard to ask for cash. And it's like, but you've just spent, I mean, in my case, I spent £12,000 on my qualifications. More, actually, come to think of it. And yet it still comes down to going, you're so you've already made an investment, you're going to be enriching those other people's lives, giving their lives additional value, proving your own worth, and yet you're not willing to ask for the money. And it wasn't them not wanting the money. As I've said in numerous videos before, if I didn't have to ask for money, I probably wouldn't. You know, if I didn't need to survive, or if there was another way whereby I could do what I do without having to charge people. You know, there have been things that I've investigated to try and allow that in one way or another. But it's arguably YouTube is part of me doing that, where you guys get access to the information that I've got without having to pay me. But it's still a case of going, right, so with this situation, I kind of need to ask for money because I can't survive off nothing. And there are, for me to be competitive with other coaches, there are limits that are set, you know. So it all pans out as having to ask. But I wanted to focus more on the kind of if you don't ask, then you don't get side of things. Because this happens in everything. If you don't ask for a pay rise, you don't get it. If you don't ask for extra equipment to do your job more effectively, then you're not going to get it. If you don't ask for those days off work for that one special thing that you needed to do, then guess what? You're probably going to end up working. You know, if you don't ask, then you don't get. You know, I asked you guys for some information at the end of last week, in the middle of last week actually, in regards to your kind of thoughts and viewing habits on the channel. If I hadn't asked, I would have never got that information. At the moment, that survey will sit there and tick by, and eventually I'll have at least some of a data set that I can work with. And as a result of that data set, hopefully things will, I'll be able to improve my content, I'll be able to grow, I'll be able to do more that will help you guys. And so it all comes full circle, you know. And this is the thing, we're part of an ever-changing, ever-growing set of kind of moving values throughout life. And the only way that those values will move towards you is either you get in their way or you ask for them to be passed on to you. And that can be tough. You know, one of the things that's always stood out to me is when you hear people talking about negotiating salaries and things like that. Excuse me. And it's they're always worried about asking in case it makes them unattractive to get the job in the first place. It's like, yeah, but what's your value? If you've got a required value that you want attached to you, then you have to ask for it. You have to make it known, because otherwise it's never going to come your way. And so, you know, it's one of those situations where it becomes tough, it becomes difficult. You know, and there are a lot of people who are afraid of the way that other people think, the way that other people might act. And yet, you'll never know unless you try, unless you ask. You know, where lots of people fear the response, when, if let's look at it this way, if not having what you want is you as a neutral state, because that's the way that you were before and the way that you will continue afterwards, if you if you don't ask, yeah, or if you don't attempt to acquire. And as a result, that continuum is going to run on and on and on and on and on. You just not having that thing. Now, if you ask, then there are two options. One, you get what you want, in which case that line takes an upward curve, or you don't get what you want. Now, would that suck? Yeah, it would suck, you know, because you wanted that thing. But how does it change your state? Well, it doesn't. It's still just a flat line, that one neutral state that you've been in all along. So if life hasn't changed as a result of a no, then why not just ask? It's the whole, if you miss every shot you don't take thing. You know, you have to put yourself out there. You have to kind of push yourself into the way to ask those questions, email that person, make that phone call, talk to those people online. You know, you have to put that stuff out there, because otherwise there's nothing that's going to change that flat line. And you know, what else is usually a flat line? Oh yeah, someone's pulse when they're dead. In which case, don't let yourself be dead, be stagnant, be anything like that. Ask those questions. Ask for what you want. Push for where you want to go. And as part of that pushing, you need to go and ask those people. You need to go and ask those things. Do that work. You know, and if you end up back at your baseline for too long and it starts to eventually droop off, that's when you need to start not just asking, but maybe also looking for other things as well. And that's also a tough thing to work with. You know, that's something that is kind of sat in the back of my mind in regards to this, and in regards to my business, in regards to the ups and downs of clients and things like that as well. You know, it's an ever-present thing, I think, for a lot of self-employed people, where that baseline is only going to be a baseline for so long, that neutral line. And so you need to have those ups, those peaks, and almost all of them come from asking for more or asking people. So it's one of those things that stands out. It's one of those things that's kind of maybe a little tough to deal with because of how apprehensive certain people are about asking, but it is so necessary. And the worst thing that can happen, really, is that your life just stays the same afterwards if you get a no. If you get a yes, everything changes. Hopefully for the better. So my suggestion, ask. I already say ask as many questions about everything, but also if you want something, ask to have it. As said, for the most part, even if you get a no, that no isn't going to be as detrimental as it seems like it might be to you. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end this one. This one, you know, just a little short thing on the kind of don't ask, don't get idea, and why you need to be asking. But otherwise, I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. You know, I know that there have been times when I've kind of been left in a lurch, and unless I have asked, I have just not been able to really get myself out of a bad situation. They needed that extra support. I needed those other people around me, or those extra resources, or whatever. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences too down in the comments there, guys. I'm sure it'd be interesting to have a discussion about those as well. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, found it interesting, please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video later. Take care.